$330,000. That is not the price of a luxury vacation home or a brand new sports car. That is the minimum amount of cash a healthy couple needs today just to pay medical bills after age 65. If you look at your retirement account and see $500,000, you are likely feeling a false sense of security. The truth is, you do not actually have $500,000. After we perform a forensic accounting on your future, the math proves you might have less than half of that to actually live on. My name is Robert, and I spend my time obsessed with the invisible equations that determine who retires in comfort and who retires in crisis. If you are someone who looks at the rising price of eggs and wonder where your hard-earned savings are going, you are in the right place. Today, we are not talking about traditional investing or common financial advice. We are talking about a retirement accounting fraud. It is not a crime committed by a bank or a corporation. It is a fraud you are unknowingly committing against yourself every time you look at your gross balance. We are going to calculate your real retirement margin. And I must warn you, once you see these numbers, you will never look at your bank statement the same way again. Here is the fundamental lie we are all sold as we approach our golden years. We are told that our success is defined by the total number in our retirement fund. If you have saved $500,000, that sounds respectable and enough to live on. But in the business world, looking at revenue without looking at expenses is how companies go bankrupt overnight. If a store sells $1 million worth of products but spends $1,000,001 on rent and inventory, that store is worth zero. Yet when it comes to our retirement, most of us only look at the revenue. We completely ignore the cost of living sold. The good being sold is your remaining years of freedom, and the cost of maintaining that freedom in this economy is astronomical. Let us perform a brutal audit of an average retiree in late 2025. Before that money even hits your hand for a loaf of bread, the government takes its share. Between federal taxes and state taxes, your traditional 401k balance is instantly shaved down by 20 to 30%. That is the easy math that most people at least try to plan for. But now we have to subtract the invisible vampire costs. These are the expenses you pay solely for the privilege of aging in a system that views you as a profit center. First, let us talk about the healthcare inflation trap. While general inflation might be reported at 3 or 4%, healthcare costs for seniors are rising much faster. Prescription drugs, insurance premiums, and out-of-pocket costs are a tax on your existence. Every time you walk into a pharmacy, you are paying a surcharge for your survival. Then there is the cost of appearance and maintenance. As we age, our bodies change, and our ability to perform physical tasks decreases. This creates what I call the dependence tax. You used to mow your own lawn, but now you pay someone $60 to do it. You used to clean your own gutters, but now you hire a service. You pay a convenience tax for grocery delivery because walking through a massive store is exhausting. These are costs that would not exist if you were still 40 years old. You are effectively spending your retirement savings to buy back the physical strength you are losing. And then there is the darkest category of all, which I call decompression spending for seniors. This is the money spent on supplements that do not work or cable packages to numb the boredom. It is the money spent to manage the stress of realizing your money is disappearing. When you add these monetary costs up, the taxes, the medical inflation, and the dependence tax, your net income is slashed. Your real purchasing power might be closer to $200,000 than $500,000. But we are only halfway through the equation because wealth is a function of money divided by your level of independence. Just as we overestimate our money, we drastically underestimate the time we lose to the system. A single medical emergency, like a stroke, is the ultimate wealth destroyer. In the United States, the average cost of treating a stroke can exceed $100,000 in the first year alone. If you are not prepared, that one event can wipe out 10 years of careful saving in a single afternoon. This is why health is not just a medical issue, it is your primary financial asset. The system relies on you being too tired or too confused to do this math. They want you to remain a passive consumer of healthcare and expensive services. They want you to think you are rich while they slowly drain your accounts through service fees and medical bills. So, how do we break this equation? The solution is not to live in fear or stop spending altogether. The solution is to ruthlessly optimize your retirement margin. This becomes the new metric for your success. Not your total net worth, but your personal efficiency. If you can use a 3-minute trick to prevent a stroke, you have just saved yourself $100,000. That is a better return on investment than any stock in the world. If you can rebuild your muscles at home, instead of paying for a gym or a physical therapist, you are increasing your profit margin. Every dollar you do not have to pay a doctor or a service provider is a dollar of pure freedom. You must start treating your retirement like a high-margin business. A smart business owner does not just try to get more money. They try to increase the gap between what they make and what they must spend to survive. Your life is the business, and your margin is the time you have left to be a human being without financial stress. If you have $1 million but spend $80,000 a year on medical care and services, you are a failing enterprise. But if you have $300,000, spend $20,000, and stay physically independent, you are a highly profitable venture. You are winning the game of life. This is where the fear of the numbers turns into positive action. I want you to sit down this weekend and run your own forensic audit. Be honest about your taxes and your rising medical costs. Estimate your future dependence tax for the next 5 years. Divide your true net pay by the years you want to live in total freedom. Write that number on a piece of paper and keep it in your wallet. The next time you are tempted to buy a product or a service you do not need, look at that number. Ask yourself if that item is worth trading a week of your independent life. This friction will save you more money than any financial planner ever could. We are living in an era where time and health are the ultimate currencies. The wealthy are buying their health back, while the uninformed are selling theirs for convenience. Do not sell your independence at a discount. Audit your life and cut the vampire costs associated with modern aging. Start building a gap between your income and your essential expenses, because that gap is exactly where your freedom lives. The systems of the world are designed to make you a dependent consumer, but you have the power to choose a different path. By focusing on your physical strength and your mental clarity, you are protecting your bank account. Eat the right proteins like eggs and hemp seeds to keep your muscles strong. Practice the breathing techniques to keep your blood pressure stable. These are not just health tips, they are financial strategies. When you take control of your body, you take control of your future. If this video made you rethink your retirement plan, share it with a friend who is worried about the future. We are all facing the same economic pressures, but we can calculate our way out of it together. You have worked too hard for too long to let your freedom be stolen by invisible costs. Be the chief executive officer of your own life starting today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next analysis.